Hey, this is Trav on Trek Trav. This is your Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 8, The Elysium Empire. So, first things first, I'm waiting for a shit episode. We've got a lot of, like even the worst episodes are still good. And it really surprises me that they've managed to nail the first season on any Star Trek show, because it's never been done before. Lower Decks is pretty good. Uh, we're obviously, I'm not going to recap the story. We're going to go straight into spoilers. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you thought of the episode in the comments below. And we'll see what is the hap. So we're at the end of the season. We've got an episode which just comes straight out of the original series. Like, the Next Generation had farcical sort of Robin Hood-y type stories, and Q sent them there, and we get that. And this episode is like seeing Anson Mount act like a coward and completely opposite to who he was as Captain Pike was a joy to watch. Ortega's being sort of tough, and it should look, we haven't seen much of Ortega's this season, but she's been really nailing just being that cool character who's in the background. Like, you notice her in every scene she's in. I really enjoyed Mbanga's story. I enjoyed the fact, I knew that it was going to come from the storybook. It was pretty obvious where it was going to go. It was pretty obvious that the child was linked to it. I was a bit like, oh, how the hell is this happening? There's no cue. So I'm going, how would you create a fantasy world on a starship? And the ship itself looked really interesting, because once again, like the original series, or even TNG, they would do things to the interior hull of the ship, or the interior walkways and stuff like that, and it's just like the worst, fakest planets you'd ever see. And for some reason, that really added to, you got this high-budget science fiction show, of which has got these just really tacky plastic plants everywhere. And the costumes were really good, like just these over-the-top, fanciful animated costumes. There was a bit of a clue who was going to be who, especially from the trailer, but also because the book, the characters pretty much just looked like the characters from the book. M'Benga really sort of sold the seriousness of this plot. Like, he sort of gets into it, he knows the story, he sort of says that he thinks it's in his mind, but it turns out it's in his daughter's mind. And the choice is basically him reaching the end of the story. He's at the last chapter of the book. This is the last chapter of his story with his daughter. And at the end, like, I was watching the whole episode. It was fun. It was like, it had a lot of twists and turns. Watching each actor act differently to who they were. The actress who plays Lan Noonien Singh, just amazingly happy and cheery. She was like she was in an episode of Doctor Who back in the yonder days. It was really good seeing the characters play these different roles, and I really liked that. And then M'Benga sold the heart of the story, which was a father letting go of his daughter and his whole life. And I think if he had just let her go with the nebula, the conscious nebula, which is an interesting concept. I get, like, it blinked into existence. It's an interesting concept. I just don't know whether it plays very well. But she goes with the conscious nebula, and then she comes back moments later, and time sort of has no meaning. Is this a precursor to the Nexus? Probably not. And we sort of see her, and she sort of tells him to move on, and he needs to live his own life and write his own story. And it's an interesting, just an interesting thing. Because I think if he'd left it as she was a child and she disappeared and they just went back to normal after that, I think that what you would have found is you would have been a bit like, still a kid. But I think having her come back and go, look, my life was amazing. I enjoyed it. I've seen so many things. It's a really, really sweet story. It's not hyper emotional, but it's just a bit like, This is a father letting go of the fact, accepting the fact that his daughter would die. He can't do anything for her. He has tried for years to help his daughter, and now he has the opportunity to help her, and the only way he can help her is by letting her go. And I think that's the most amazing thing about the story, was the way it did emotionally hook me at the end. I certainly will not get over seeing Ethan Peck smile. Like, I've seen photos of him outside of the Spock outfit, but then to see him in the sort of almost Lord of the Rings-ish outfit with a grin on his face, I was like, he's a good look. Like, everyone in this show, you put them in it. The only one who looked really goofy was Anson Mount, and you sort of accepted it. Like, he played this flamboyant, cowardly character. Little bit offended that he was a little bit flamboyant and probably gay. But interesting. I did think during the episode, wouldn't it be funny if Anson Mount just came out as bisexual? Or not Anson Mount, but Captain Pike. That would be hilarious. Piss off a lot of people too. Overall, I think this episode was a solid, like, we're at 8, we've got 2 more episodes left of the season. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do after this season, because there's no Trek for a while. It was a really great episode, and I think this season is the best first season of any Star Trek show. It certainly has the story writers in it, the creative side is working really well. Every character feels either fleshed out or is about to be fleshed out. The only one is Ortega's, and to be honest, I love her even though she hasn't been fleshed out. She's just a really cool, like, her lines are some of the highlights of the episode. It's just a overall amazing accomplishment to these writers that they've managed to be original, as well as very much harkening back to the original series and the TNG era, dealing with strong issues of social justice and social morals and empathy, as well as doing the silly episodes where they all dress up like they did in tonight's. And just looking amazing at this show. If Akiva Goldsman is the reason for this, I very much think that he should be in charge of the entire Star Trek franchise. I'm hoping that Picard and Discovery take a little bit of notice of how well Strange New Worlds is doing. Anyway, what did you think? Make sure to leave a like, comment, and please subscribe, and come back next week for Strange New Worlds episode 9. And I will be doing a video on Sunday. Who knows what the topic is? It's a random topic. This is Trek Trav. Live long and prosper.